swear one day I'll have this, like, not lag on the transition as much. Hey, we're here. Hello, 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 and welcome back. Hope everyone's had a good day so far. Hope everyone's having a good one. Just getting the last few things sorted out. We have got a little bit of a difference today, and it's probably not going to be even notable on your guys' end. However, it's something that I am very interested to see, and it seems to have worked out pretty well. Okay, give me a second. I need to get the music sorted. There we go. But yeah, I decided to try something different, and it means that I have a little bit more control and safety nets for if something goes wrong with the multi-streaming. So I'm glad to see that it worked well today, and I want to see how it works moving forward. There'll definitely be a interesting time with that. Okay, nearly there, and that should give us other music finally. Good old Heartbound soundtrack. There we go. Alright. So as you can see, I have actually been doing some work this morning. Last few days have been like... I've tried to take time slowly over the last couple of days, but that just doesn't always happen. Needless to say, yeah, got work done, mostly programming related, but I have gotten a bit of art stuff done here. Have been tweaking stuff this morning to try and get it all nice and cleanly working. But that is a bigger ask than I think I'm quite capable of doing most of the time. Looks like both streams are working perfectly fine. Yeah, so to explain the little thing that I did. Normally when I start, so with Streamlabs, to start the stream, I need to stream to, say, YouTube as the login account, but then I stream to Restream, so I can stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. The problem is, if it lags and breaks at some point, that means that that YouTube stream gets locked in. And I have to remake the entire stream from the ground up, which can be time consuming. And it just tends to be why I just say, fuck it, oh well. It also leaves a lot better of a evidence point for it, but hey. This time I decided to use Twitch as the basis, and it worked out pretty smoothly. It does mean I need to have a lot more prepped in advance to make sure, so I have a couple more steps I need to do. But overall, this is probably a better way to do it in the future, because if something goes wrong, Twitch is a much easier one to just toggle off and on. In short, it's kind of what I mean by them. Now, while I'm just double checking that all of that is working, let's go back to the art. Alright, so what we're at the moment, I'm not very far done, but we've kind of gotten a very stiff, mind you, run animation in for Lily. This is probably a better showing. There's a few things I need to tweak about it to just like really bring in the changes that I want to, but we're getting there. The hair is what I'm kind of working on at the moment. We'll also work a little bit on the clothes here and there, and then we'll work on the tail finally. And yeah, then we'll be nice and happy with things. I also need to do some shadow work at some point and other things, but I've more or less pushed in this outfit stuff as best I can. I don't believe I'm hugely missing on anything with it. One of the biggest things I know I'm missing on is the ribbon. I've tried to give it a little bit of thing, but it just being this small change on frame 3 and 6 is not enough. Because if you look, it's got like that, but then the rest of the time it's this. So it still looks very stagnant, it's very weirdly looking. I need to put in a little bit more movement for it. I think what I'm going to probably do is just move this to being straight while it's like that. Be the first thing I can think of, but I want to get the hair locked in and done before we get too far into little smaller details like that, because the hair needs to have movement and volume going on. As again a good example of kind of what I'm intending with things, I use Aura, which is in current reference down here, and she is just as simply that. There's a little bit of hair movement, a little bit of everything's kind of moving around. Most of it's still fairly stagnant though. But there's like even one of the frames here. This is one of the big ones. That one actually adds so much to it because of the distance with the neck and chest. It actually really helps with the bobbing feeling. I still think that is just straight up the peak of what I've managed to accomplish with running animations. We'll see how it goes with trying to introduce something like that. It's very hard to introduce that though in a lot of these skins because that one, again, it's one of those like I nailed it and I don't know how I've nailed it and I don't know how to replicate it into other skins effectively without causing a lot of grief. With Shy Lily, it's quite difficult because of how split apart her outfit is getting the distance between everything correct, right? Like, because you have to keep in mind there has to be the midriff showing, which I think is very important for Shy Lily's character. I don't know, maybe I'm weird for that one. But we'll see. There's also a lot of other art assets that I'm going to be trying to work on in the near future as well, in my spare time. Again, like, the biggest aim for this coming update was to have everything at a specific level or above, and that's what I've been aiming to work on at the moment, but that is, it's when you kind of set that bar is when you realize how much is below that bar. So that's what's taking me a lot of time at the moment. Yeah, I've just, simply put, I've just been very tired and designing and pre-designing a lot of assets. So, I was working here. I'm thinking I'm going to have this come out a little bit more flat-like. At this part, and then have this one almost pushed upwards. Again, kind of mirroring how I've done this stuff here. So, with that being the case, kind of more... that, and then... I think this is the only frame I've messed up so far with this. This frame needs more work then. Okay, so how about we push it further down. Or instead of pushing it further down, we push it up. So I can do this. Okay. So let's try Control C, and this would be onto frame 5. Whoops, I'm on the wrong layer. Do that, and then Control C. Do that. I think that's correct. So now, okay, now we just need to do the top over here, because I actually quite like how that's kind of done in that spot. So the top of her head has two things that we're going to need to do. We're going to need to do something about her, this, and then we need to do something about her, like, weird, air things that she has. Air banking. And then minor tweaks to the outfit, and then the tail. Good lord. Oh. Fucking hell. The funness. Also, I'm not going to show or play it on stream, but my friend has sent me a couple of little audio files that are going to potentially be the foundation for the new in-game music for the lobby, because I've not really played the music too much on stream because I don't like to have the in-game music playing while I've actually got music playing. Sorry, getting slightly distracted by something. But yeah, so there is lobby music though. There's lobby music and in-game music. I think... Is it those, or is it in here? Which ones are the ones I'm using? Let's pause the music for a second. So we're looking for, this one's the current hub one, which it's not that it's bad, it's just that it doesn't quite fit the same as what we kind of wanted. Is this going to play nicely? So that's basically what we've got at the moment for the hub. Again, it's not bad. I really like it. It's just the weakness that this had, and with the hub that we kind of are having, is the hub's supposed to be very like relaxed and casual, and this didn't quite tick the box for both of us. I think we both kind of agreed that it wasn't quite what we wanted in the end. Because again, the lobby, while it looks like, well, I guess it looks like this. If I just hide the collisions layer though for a moment, like it looks like this. It's supposed to be kind of Adventure Hub Tavern-esque. And that music felt more like busy town city thing, whereas like we kind of wanted a lazy feel, again very relaxed. And what we've got so far he's produced sounds really nice for it. So slowly working on the OST, I guess, of the game. That'll be fun one day. I mean, I gotta say, the one thing I definitely aspire for is to one day just be able to go, hey, you know what, I'm gonna play my own fucking music on stream, and it will just be OST music from games I've made. And how there is no way that anyone will be able to ever copyright me ever again. And realistically, if I was to do that, and I openly state this now, outside of very specific situations, most of the games I want to produce, the OSTs, they're gonna basically be just like, hey, if you want to use this for streams or anything like that, go right ahead. I'd ask if you're going to use it for a game that you reference it, but other than that, like, go the fuck ahead. I don't mind. I think the only time that's not going to be the case is if I do end up making a much larger scale game, and even then I'm going to try and do my best to have the music as readily accessible and non-copyrighted as possible. And that's me being like very, hey, one day I might have a multi-billion-dollar company. It's like, no, that's not likely. But point is, I mean, one thing I'm definitely kind of on that weird excite thing for is VTubers auditions. They've just closed recently, and I did apply back in like the first week that it got announced. And I would love to see what happens there, because it would be interesting to see if they say yes to someone that's like, I want to do game programming in this environment. I will play games and I will do game programming. I feel like it would be really funny to see that work out. Okay. Sorry, again, moment of distraction, looking at sorting something out. Welcome to why art also takes like longer than it probably should, is because I just don't, I hate it so much. It's just not something I enjoy doing. Okay, so if this is that, then what have I got playing in the background? The music? It's Heartbound's OST. This. Which, for some don't ask me why, for some reason it's doubled every song in here when I added it to as a playlist, so it's only actually 100 songs, but it's every song twice. And I just have it on shuffle and repeat. Yeah, so this is the music for the game that Pirate Software Thor works on. Well, it's his game, but he's gotten like, I think he has someone doing art and someone doing music. And I think I've seen some of the interviews with the person that did the music, and him talking about like what he does in the game around music, with the music that was given to him. But yeah, he said very openly that it is completely fine to use. So I took him up on that, and to explain best, to get that OST like that, I bought it via Steam. So I have actually bought the OST. I don't think I actually own the game, but I own the OST. And that was something that was my way of kind of going like, look, if I'm going to use this, I want to contribute some way. And I feel like this is the most valid way I can contribute that benefits both parties, right? Because that's the other thing, is I'm not just going to go and want it to only benefit the people that made it. I want to be able to benefit from it. So if I want to benefit from it, I still kind of want to give back to the people that made it. And I felt this was, yeah, like I said, the most adequate way I can at the moment. Long term, again, the long-term goal is that I'd have my own OST and I would contribute it the same way, and that's my way of also honoring the awesomeness that is Thor and the work he puts in. And his team. So... this is what the air looks like normally separate to the thing. So let's grab a copy of that. I feel like that's actually going to be more this frame. And then we do something more with this here. Oops. Does that look right? I don't think that looks right. No, that's way too aggressive of a curving for it. There, and then that there. Yeah, and that doesn't look enough. I feel like I need to move it. On this frame, move it down a little bit. Thank God you're already at the 4th frame, not just starting the first one. Technically, I've worked on all of them. We're at a point where we're just doing the finishing touches. Like that's what I've been doing in my spare time, especially this morning. Like there's a few tweaks I need to do here and there across the board, but Okay, then outside of the Higo, I can't remember what it's called. Ahagan. It's because it sounds very close to Ahagal. Ahoge? I think that's Ahoge. Is that what it's called in Japanese? Now I need to look this up. Ahoge. Here. Yes, Ahoge. The little like antenna sort of thing. It's very strange, but a lot of VTubers have them. It's actually kind of surprising. So we need to do something with this part here. How are we gonna do this? I mean, we could just remove this piece and move the lot of it down, and then remove this piece, and then brush across with that. It's not looking great, but because of that bit getting removed. That looks a bit better. Okay, let's do the clothes thing that I keep talking about. And then it was this one as well. That looks a little bit better like that. Okay, cool. Now I can add the tail. Now let's just grab a solid reference of it from here. So we're gonna have to... Okay, so that's about where the butt is, right? So we're gonna have to shrink it down a little bit, and we're gonna have to give it the full tail. Because the benefit we had before is that we didn't have to show the second part of the tail, so we could hide the fact that it was only one of the fins. But now we don't have that opportunity. So what we're gonna have to do is, so to give an idea, this needs to come down maybe here, and across a little bit maybe. No, we don't want to come across too much because we'll do the rest of the tail. So I'm going to yoink this. And we're going to have that, and I'm going to see if I can... Yeah, cheating. Somewhat, at least. And then we'll probably want to have that again. want to give it a little bit of difference. So it does feel good to see moving. So I'm going to have it kind of move a little bit back and forth within this space, I think is how I'm going to have to do it. So it's going to have to go up against this wall on land. So it's going to have to rotate down a little bit. Okay. Like that. Let's work on this piece first. Do that. Give it shading so it doesn't mesh with the hair too badly. And then grab this and reposition this. Okay, and then let's see what happens when we take these and just push them over to this. Could use a little bit more movement, but it looks good. So the fins probably just need a little bit of movement. Maybe. Just a small bit of movement, not too much. Here. Let's see what happens if we just grab this. Move it across a little bit. Yep. Grab that. And oops. There we go. The tail seems to start too low in your eyes. That's fair. My only reasoning to say against that is just simply this is about the same as where it was in the original. But you also have to keep in mind that the body's curved. Like, if we... thinking if I hide the hair behind in the body, does that make it look better when I have it showing, like, where it's kind of origin from? Because that's what I'm kind of seeing while I'm designing this. But I know that might not be as obvious. So the tail is moving a lot, arguably, but again, there's gonna think that's reasonable movement for what it's doing. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I need to do for the sprint animation then, for now. So let's export that. And close these for now. And let's put that in and have a little look at it inside the game, shall we? Import strip image. Convert. Yes. SP Lily running. And then we need to move this to bottom center. Believe is we are running animations for now. Yep. Those are the changes. I didn't do the shadow on the key. Fuck. Realize that. We can fix that in a second. Should probably just fix that now. Yeah, you're gonna fall off if you keep being stupid. I also didn't do the tattoos, I think, as well, from memory. Yeah, I haven't done any of the tattoos, and I haven't done any of the shadow. On the face. So to get that, I need to go to head, but I need to grab this color here. Wait. Stop it. Alright, you're gonna be like that, you have to go off the chat. You're gonna fall off and you're gonna take everything with you. And then we want Shy Lily thing so I can get the color for the tattoo. Okay, there we go. Now I redo the export. And we redo the import. Now we can put this into the character. I'm slowly going through and cleaning these up still. And put that there, and that's her running animation. So that should be in there nicely and working. Oy, oy, oy. Oh, you know what I fucking watched yesterday? I watched a bit of the Deer anime that's coming out at the moment. I watched like 5 episodes of it. Not gonna spoil anything in it, but all I'll say is... what the fuck is going on? It is very much what I expect from like Japanese comedy series, and it's like the good version of that sort of stuff. So I can imagine it. Yeah. I think someone responded saying like it's Japanese brain rot, and that's pretty fucking accurate. Like if you've watched something like Jushin Dropkick or Dropkick on My Default, and you enjoyed that, you'll enjoy this. Like it's very much that sort of comedy-esque series. Very gag orientated and very unapologetic in a lot of what it does. It's great. But it doesn't stop my brain from hurting while watching it. I'm barely interested in it to begin with. Fair. I mean, like, it was one of those ones where I was going to watch it eventually. But I just felt like watching a gag series, and I'm kind of now made a rule where I can't really rewatch series anymore. Unless it's kind of to watch further content of said series. An example of that is when I rewatched Konosuba recently. Oh, I haven't fixed the animation speed. Shit. It's 10, isn't it? 7. There we go. But yeah, I made a rule that nowadays, just because there's so much content constantly coming out, I can't often justify rewatching things. Which, yeah, I think I talked about this the other day. It really upsets me because I used to rewatch a lot of shit. So, definitely kind of hard because there's sometimes I'm just feeling the itch to go rewatch an old series, but if I do that now, I'm gonna have to make a big thing. Watched Pop Team Epic and kind of hated it, but also watched Nichijou and found it fun. Yeah, I will say those Japanese gag anime series are really hit and miss. Pop Team Epic is a little too culture dependent. I think Pop Team Epic's a lot harder to enjoy if you don't get some of the nuances inside of Japanese and Japanese culture. Whereas I think Nichijou did a much better job of being a bit more universally, like, funny, in a sense. There we go. Yeah, it looks not too bad. Konosuba slabs, not only as comedy, kind of hold in same place as Gintama. I would watch it for, yeah. No, like, I will pretty much agree with that. Like, Gintama, definitely. I've only watched a little bit of it. A little bit of it. I've watched it like 100-something episodes, but that is only a little bit of it. But my friend is super into Gintama. So I do know quite a bit about it, and I have enjoyed what I've watched of it. It's very funny. But it also does, again, those series are satire series. They're defined by being satire series, and that's not a bad thing, because a good satire it truly loves what it's satiring, and wishes for it to be better. more like fan-orientated example I always use for this is the Sword Art Online Abridged series and the Hellsing Ultimate Abridged series. Both of those are abridged. Both of those abridged series are abridged series made by people that really truly love the original content and wish for it to be better, and decided to take the piss out of it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, also same argument. Met little Karibo once myself. Really, really awesome guy. Met him when I was a lot younger though. In fact, I can tell you when I met him was when he showed the next episode early at the convention where I saw him, and it was the episode in which there was it 4 of them are dueling together, and they do the Kaiba starts singing the "One of these things is not like the other, one of these things," and then just Yami interrupts Joey because he sucks at duel monsters. That one. If anyone remembers, it's like the 4 of them in the weird elevator dueling setup thing. That was shown to us early, and that was when I met him. Right now, Fate on Abridged is the 3rd series that satires the original of Love Affair. The pure filler episode. I mean, there was a Fate Zero Abridged that I absolutely loved, and I mimicked the shit out of the caster voice that they had for it. I'm a chameleon. I fucking loved the voice cast they had for that. It was great. I'm going to summon Cthulhu. Bad dude. Never seen, kind of regret, fair. But yeah, there's... I wouldn't put it past that there's an Unlimited Blade Works Abridged that's pretty fucking great. Right. I mean, there's been multiple attempts at that stuff before. There's been so many attempts at so many different ones. Still think, to this day, one of the best like one-shot abridged things I've ever seen was the one that... Somewhat Witty Entertainment, the guys that do the SAO abridged, did for the smartphone one. That was fucking hysterical. I'm kind of glad they've not committed more to it. I don't believe they have the intention of either, and it was just a one-shot joke thing, but it was fucking nailed. I loved that. It was fun. They got the right kinds of humor going for a really boring series. Which, I say this from the position of someone that has both read and watched, like, all of the fucking smartphone series. Painfully bad. Yamato sound effects as Shiro Emiya tells you that... Oh, no. Oh, Jesus. Really need to finish it. It's a good fucking meme. It's a good fucking meme. Highly recommend it. But I still think, yeah, again, the universally best example of an abridged series was pretty much Hellsing Ultimate. Because they encapsulated the concept of the story in such a humorous way, while still managing to actually be fairly accurate to what the fuck was going on, and poke fun at the fact that it is really convoluted and stupid. And I say this from the perspective of someone that has watched the original, and if someone's gonna go, should I watch the original? I'm gonna tell them no, because do you know what they cut out the most in the abridged? Is the dialogue. Wait, but isn't like 90% of the abridged dialogue? Exactly. I'm not kidding. One of the speeches was about 70% of one of the episodes, and it was one of the most painful fucking speeches, because it was just so fucking painful It was repetition on repetition on repetition of meaningless word of meaningless word of meaningless word that just made me care less and less. And if anyone's wondering, it's a speech done by the head of the zombie vampire Nazis things. But that dude, so he genuinely has a speech that's like 20 minutes long in one of the episodes, and it is absolutely terrible because it's supposed to show like, oh, he's really smart and he's really, really charismatic and all this sort of stuff, and it's supposed to be like a quite intense leadership thing. It was so poorly done. Do I think that there was a lot of really cool elements in the original? Yes. But I think, again, that's the point of the abridged did a fucking great job of getting you to those moments and giving you a lot of fun with it, while still taking the mickey out of it. Like with ASAO abridged, it's just better to watch rather than the proper. Yeah, I can more or less agree with it. Like, the original Hellsing, like the original, not bad. The Ultimate has its problems, but again, the speeches are extremely... Yes, because it's not delivered by Lanny. That's true. But you know what I mean if you've ever watched Hellsing Ultimate, is the dialogue in it is very, very heavy, and a lot of the dialogue was unnecessarily heavy. It was a great series, really fun, had a lot of psychological cool shit going on, really fucking loved that, but fuck me, was it unnecessary at some moments to go as deep as it went. And I think that's something that's not just me, I think that's fairly universally agreed upon. Which, yeah, that's why I say it. Like, if I was to tell someone how to watch it, I would just tell them to watch the abridged because they nail it. Whereas with SAO, I stand by, and I may be, like, again, on that controversial side of things, I actually really liked the original Ironclad arc. I thought that was pretty decent. It was a really cool, interesting story, very cohesive, especially for when it came out, and it did a lot of things correctly. That would put it in a pretty standard category nowadays if it was put up against a lot of things. Elfheim arc had the potential for being really good, but then got really creepy. And that was my problem with that series. Gungale was actual trash. And then you get the later stuff, and it was really, really good. And then you get the Alicization arc, which I think was amazing up until they killed the other male character, the other main male. That's why Drifters was, Drifters was awesome. Drifters was fucking great because it's got characters being serious when they need to be and being scary as fuck, but also just the absolute bonkers and silliness that's going on as well. Like, genuinely, you could look at Drifters and think it's a parody. That's the beauty of the original Drifters series that was done by the same studio. It's because it genuinely is that fucking good. I think someone tried to do a parody of it as well, but it's just like, it doesn't need a parody. It itself almost is a parody, and it's so fun. And yeah, so that's 100%. Drifters was one that I feel like went really under the radar though. As well. Like, whenever I talk to people about it, they would think it's another, like, they would think I was referring to a different anime. So often. And I would argue it's basically Isekai Fate, but better. Which is probably going to get a lot of people grumpy, because they're like, "But Fate is amazing!" Well, as someone that... you want to hear me anger a lot of people? Do you know how I got introduced to Fate? I watched Fate Zero. Was my first introduction to Fate, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty decent. Watched Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and I was like, yeah, it's alright. I mean, it's a cool follow-up, but this one's definitely stupid. And then I found out that of all of the stuff going on with Fate, and I'm like, oh dear God. Well, I got to watch some of the other stuff. I watched the original series, and it was a thing. I wasn't gonna say it's bad or good. It's a thing. Actually, you know what I'm gonna say, and I skipped something. I did watch another Fate series before I watched Unlimited Blade Works. Do you want to know what that Fate series was? So there's a Fate anime. I don't know if there's a thing, but there's a Fate series that is very well known. Well, I don't know if it's well known, but it's fairly notorious that I watched. So just a little reminder, I really love magical girl series, right? And if you know what I might be referring to, you've now definitely know what I'm fucking referring to. Yeah, have you Fate Prisma Elia is a series that exists. Now I stand by my statements I've made on that series of it was okay-ish, got worse, got significantly worse, got significantly better, and then it had its movie that actually made the entire series really good to me. DJ Khaled, Prisma, yeah, exactly. I stand by that. It's one of those series that if you're willing to get through all of the crap in it, which is not worth it, it does become a good series. But I do not believe it is worth going through all of that. Unless you're just fine with dealing with the weirdness that is, like, Japan and magical girl series somehow having weird sexual tones going on, and how that's really kind of uncomfortable. Because they are canonically quite young in this, and that is very strange. But yeah, I watched that before I watched Unlimited Blade Works, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Why the Miyuverse had to even be made, but that movie kind of made it. Yeah, no, exactly, right? Like, the story progressively got worse and more questionable, and just generally, I didn't like the last season pretty much. Outside of, I mean, we all kind of like Gil. Gil was fun. Seeing baby Gilgamesh was great. And some of the stuff for that was cool. But then, yeah, then the movie came forward with all of the stuff for Miyu, and you're like, oh, yo, this is actually really fucking good now. It justified a lot of things that had kind of been really bad plot points before. But yeah, then I watched the original. I still not watched the new ones. The arc where it's supposed to be following the pink-haired girl, purple-haired girl, whatever her name is. Someone who loves Gilgamesh cannot be a bad person. Exactly. Dude, I think my skin in Minecraft for the longest time was just Gilgamesh, because I fucking love his character. He's such an asshole. It doesn't help. I think the reason I loved him the most is his personality meshes really well with mine. Is that I'm someone that took the opinion of, you should trial everything in the world. Like, you should experience all the world's riches somehow, at least once, regardless of what it is. Which has gotten me in a lot of trouble in my time, right? I do not recommend that path, but it's a path that has led to excitement, sadness, happiness, all sorts. And yeah, so I really resonated with that kind of personality of it's just like, oh, well, regardless of what it is, I will savor it because it is sort of stuff. Playing Fate Samurai Remnant as we speak. Love what they did with Gilly. I do not know about that. Love how Gilly is me. Things went right a single time in my life. Yeah. But so yeah, that's kind of the personality I always had. That's why I think it's when he's talking with Kire? Was that her? The priest? Like, it really resonated with me of that. Because it's just like, yeah, no, that's how I've lived my life. Regardless of, in a sense, regardless of consequences, experience everything. Taste and savor all that is there to be tasted and savored. Just, again, not wise to suggest. It's probably why, like, I'm a little bit of a thrill seeker nowadays. Like, I really want to go do, like, really stupid shit, right? One of the things I have never done and I want to do is some skydiving. Probably can't because of my heart condition, but I really fucking want to. And that becomes like the issue for me, is how much there is so much I want to do like that, but I can't do. It's just the talk between him, Ryder, and oh yeah, no, that the King's like the King's meeting thing was actually one of the best scenes because it was one of the harshest battles in all of Fate, I would argue. Right? Like, it was one of the most intense fights of all of these characters. King's Banquet, thank you. I couldn't remember quite the term for it. But yeah, the King's Banquet was one of the most intense fights of all of the fights in it because it was an ideological fight. It was a fight of three kings with very different perspectives on what it means to be a king. And none of them really being wrong. Right? Like, a king that fights for their people and is basically a servant of the people. Sounds like a great thing, but it has its drawbacks. That's what they pointed out about what Artoria did. Then you've got Excander, which is a king that lives the most merry he can and be's the king. He shows being the king. All that. And that's also great because it empowers your people. But then what does it leave behind? Then you have Gilgamesh, which is arguably one of the most well-known kings of all time. And his statement is, you should live as a king, you should live for the people, but you should live as an inspiration for your people, and that is how you live for your people. You do well by them, but you rule over them. Saber still might be the closest to being wrong. Yeah, like that's kind of the point, right? Is it's just like, by listening to the ideology, she sounds like the best if you're one of her people. But then you look at what happened and it's like, no, that is actually how that goes. You sacrifice too much in the process of being that kind of person. If you constantly are sacrificing yourself, then you're going to eventually sacrifice those around you. And that's where the problem comes in. So and the irony is that, like, arguably the most selfish, egotistical asshole of the lot is the best king because of that. Because he knows what he's doing. He knows what he needs to do, but he doesn't step forward and do things that he deems unnecessary. And that's where that ideological battle was so gorgeous. And then you have the joke of a fucking fight afterwards that cements some of the ideological battle. And yes, I am referring to the combat with Assassin and Assassin and Ryder, where he used the reality thing, because your noble phantasm is arguably one of the strongest tools you have in your arsenal. I mean, it is your strongest tool. It's your big weapon. And he's so proud and so immense that he doesn't care about revealing his trump card. And that's so great. That follows his character. And that's why when you get the fight between Gil and Ryder in the end, he uses the Noble Phantasm and he just fucking destroys that reality. Which is exactly what that was. That was a finalization to it all. Yeah, no, we all love Excandor. Which I love the reason his name is Excandor is because they were like, we can't say Alexander in Japanese. So yeah, no, I really will always think of all of the Fate series I have watched, Zero was probably one of the best because it had ideological fights in it that resulted in actual fights and became really cool for that. I mean, another perfect example of this is the concept of being a noble knight and having Lancer versus Saber. Right? Because in a situation where it's like, shit, one of our characters can end this bad situation effectively, we all are teaming up together to fight. How the fuck do we do it? Well, this person, currently she can't use it because of the curse of that spear. It's like, shit, well. Oh well. And we got to see fucking Saber's OP as fuck. Noble Phantasm. Good old Excalibur. Wasn't it, what was the term? Was it bunker level? Was it castle level? I remember that there was terms for it all. Shows philosophy. Oh. Yeah. But I remember, like, again, there's terms for what the Noble Phantasm's power levels are, and I remember hers being, like, bunker or castle level. Something like that. Because it refers to how much damage it can potentially do, which is why, is it air? I think it's, like, world level or some shit like that, because it genuinely doesn't give a shit. It's that's why Gilgamesh is OP as fuck. His weakness is his character, not anything else, and that's always been the point of him. Because could Gilgamesh... If you got every other hero that ever existed to fight Gilgamesh, who would win? Gilgamesh. Because he would just nuke the shit out of them. And point I'm used to Grand Order terminology, which is... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've never played Fate Go myself. I've seen some gameplay of it. It doesn't seem like one I would enjoy playing, but I can see the benefits of it. I mean, I've played similar stuff in the past. But yeah, I think maybe it's... Yeah, it's something to it though. I'm sure I could look it up and find out. But, oh Jesus, why'd the pen go there? I'm sorry, cat. Don't want to smack you in the face with it. To be fair, I love Gilly and what ultimately gives him the L's. Yeah, exactly. Like, because his loss to Shiro Emiya was ego. It was nothing else. If you try and argue with me that he lost for any other reason, is simply S plus rank anti-army phantasm. Yeah, I'm sure it was it's termed something else in the anime. I'm sure it was like anti-bunker or anti-castle or some shit like that, maybe. But yeah, I guess most of them moved on to just like anti-army or anti-unit because that's what the game does. But yeah, no, fucking... Yeah, so he lost to Shiro purely because of ego. Because it's like, how dare someone that uses a shitty version of what I do, a fake copy, like force me to use air. And he would have just wiped the fucking floor with Emiya if he'd used air like maybe even 3 seconds earlier. But he didn't, and because of that, he loses. And that's great. Because in a sense, the reason Gil even gets more up his ass, like up himself, is because he keeps living during that time. In a more complex terms, partial release Excalibur is considered A rank anti-unit. What Saber did against Berserker. Ah, okay. Because, yeah, like, I remember there was the attack that she did versus the fucking thing Caster summons in Zero, and I know that was, like, the big ultimate attack. Which is arguably one of those beautiful fucking shots in that series as well. That series was gorgeous in a lot of ways. No, that was full release. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like that was the full release to my understanding. Was destroying Caster's summon. Which is, ironically enough, around that time was when I was playing, what was it called? The Aura Kingdom? They had like a Holy Knight in that, which is basically just Saber. It's great. Oh, fun fact, yeah, I played, I think it was called Aura Kingdom. And I played a shitload of that because I was really done with World of Warcraft at the time. And I wanted to play an MMO, and it was basically World of Warcraft, but anime at the time. And I was just like, yeah, it's pretty good. Should have probably played Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 14. I've played a bit of that now. It's fucking great. I want to go back and play it, but it's like $60 for like 3 months, so I can't really justify that at this stage. As a huge Lovecraftian nut, I was always disappointed Cthulhu never did make an appearance to be blasted away by Excalibur. I mean, let's see if I remember. Isn't there one of the characters that exists is like the doorway to the Lovecraftian universe? And their power is literally just letting you peek. And like she lets you peek and basically no one survives that. Because it's so much like psychological damage seeing into that universe. I believe that's one of the characters that exists in Fate. I mean, Caster himself was a Cthulhu devotee. Yeah. But, like, I'm trying to remember what that character was called, even. But I'm sure there's, like, a little girl that does that. And she's, like, locked away or something like that. Or she is the lock. I can't fucking remember. There is a character with the Necronomicon, and the release is letting you into the Grey Beyond. Oh, okay. So yeah, like there's some characters I know exist in Fate. Because that's the fun part is, there's so many arguments of like who's the strongest Fate character. I'm pretty sure consistently, outside of psychological damage, I believe Gilgamesh is always the strongest, right? because just due to the fact that he is the origin of almost all heroes, so unless it's something that spans to a power that's beyond the era of gods and I think what is the term? Is it god and myth? I think is the term. It's the realm of god and myth, and he was the first legend to exist coming out of that, which is why he's the origin of a lot of others. They can topple over gods, yeah, Jesus. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the concept with Gilgamesh. That's why he's the strongest, because he's like the only character that technically is the carryover. So he does exist from the realm of gods and myth, but he's just past it enough that he can be used as a heroic spirit by Gaia? Fuck, I'm now trying to remember Fate lore. What am I doing? Gaia's the thing that summons them all from the Throne of Heroes, right? Because that's the being that Emir signs on with and becomes what we eventually know as Archer Emir. The future Shiro Emir. That's OP. We can mention Agnum Manu here. Origin of both evil and Grail in the first Counter Guardian, which later as the concept evolved to bring Shiro and... That's right, yeah. Which, yeah, because it doesn't help. I think Gant has made many jokes about this. If you try and actually track what the fuck's going on in the Fate lore, it's so hard. Because then you get like Fate Apocrypha, which is if the third Holy Grail War changes, I believe. And then it's at the same time as the events in Fate Zero is when Fate Apocrypha is occurring. But Gaia is the will of the planet that lets the servants come back, and Elia is the will of humanity to live. Thank you. There you go. I'm remembering some of it. It's such a convoluted fucking universe. Still, his timeline is the closest we got to a comprehensive lore of Fate. True. That's the sad part, is that it's like an actual psychotic mess, but it's like the most accurate. Actually, where is that video? Apocrypha is during World War II? Was it during World War II, or was it in the universe that was adjacent and it was affected by World War II? Yeah, there's the fucking 30-minute video of him explaining it. It's adjacent? Yeah, because I know it's an adjacent storyline. It just starts at World War II. Yeah, it's because I think it's like... Okay, I'm happy to be corrected on this, but isn't the lore of Apocrypha that the Nazis stole the Grail in World War II or some shit like that? And then it's them trying to bring it back. I'm literally pulling up his video now. Fuck it.
This video is sponsored by Honkai Impact 3rd. Gamers, gacha gamers. You know me, I love my 2D girls, and Honkai Impact 3rd has the cream of the crop. A free-to-play 3D action role-playing mobile game developed and published by me.
Right, sorry, Gant. We kind of want to skip over the ad because this is going to be a long ass fucking video as it is. I mean, Honkai Impact's kind of gone now as
History
well.
Prize. And also from...
That's the fun part. It's now got the new one, right? Part 2, I think, or something. Shit.
So, what are you waiting for? Download Honkai Impact 3rd today and join the events to win some great prizes. Links and info in the description below. And with that said, let's get on with the video. The Fate series is one of the most expansive franchises in all of anime. In between all the games, anime, manga, light novel, visual novels, spin-offs, it's probably one of the most daunting franchises for any newbie to try to get into. A little while ago, I made a joke skit called Trying to Understand the Fate franchise, based around how confusing the entire thing looked for an outsider looking in.
This was 3 years ago.
Satire aside, it was based on many real-life conversations I've actually had with Fate fans trying to explain the franchise to newcomers. And every time that happens, I always hear, do you want the long version or do you want the short version? Because everyone asks for the short version, but even the short version for an outsider can seem like a convoluted mess of information. Thought you were going to give me the short version. This is the short version. But ever since I made that video, because no one ever actually asked for it, I've always wondered to myself, what is the long version?
Gonna actually regret watching some of this. I've watched this before.
The Fate franchise fascinates me. Originally created by Kinoku Nasu, what started as just a single eroge visual novel has turned into a multi-billion-dollar franchise with more media than any.
Wait, can I just talk about a thing that still cracks me up to the end of days? Right, is that there was a news report from Japan where someone. This is no long. Yeah. Fucking, there was a news report from in Japan. It was just like someone found out that Fate, their favorite series, Fate, originated from an eroge, and they locked themselves in a room for a week because they were so upset. And just everyone's comments is, "That's not why they locked themselves away for a week. They weren't upset."
Person can wrap their head around. I mean, just look at all this shit. Can you see how many there is? There's at least 5. So it can be easy to forget how and why people became fans in the first place, that many newcomers may even forget to ask, what is Fate even about? Don't worry, I got you. The basic premise revolves around a bunch of mages who can summon heroic spirits from Earth's real history or legends to do battle over the Holy Grail, a mythical wish-granting device in what is called the Holy Grail War. Basically, it's a bunch of mages spending all their V-Bucks to organize the ultimate Fortnite, Apex Legends, fucking Minecraft, Hunger Games, Battle Royale between all your favorite people from history and legend to create the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. God, I hope my audience isn't too young to understand that reference. And the Holy Grail War is just basically Nasu going, "What?"
Can we just talk about, I remember this all.
However, the background and lore of the entire Fate universe is unimaginably deeper than that.
Where have I somehow...
That every single...
There we go. I somehow made it speed up. Okay. Can we just talk about how I remember his old office and the fucking thigh pic in the background? Needs to remake it using all Skibidi Riz and Phantom Tax. Oh dear God, please no. Can we not have this ever remade? Actually, no, I want Gun to remake this video and it'd be like 4 hours long.
The background and lore of the entire Fate universe is unimaginably deeper than that. So much so that every single spin-off, anime, manga, novel, every single piece of Fate's media takes place in a coherent universe, fitting somewhere on a grand timeline, which is also shared with Nasu's other works, creating this grand universe known only as the Nasuverse. So you know what I thought would be a good idea? What if I tried explaining the entire Fate timeline? Keyword being thought, implying it was me in the past.
I hope he works on it
explaining all the Fate lore and timeline in detail would take hours and hours. I mean, just look at some of these wiki pages. This isn't a wiki page, it's a fucking light novel. Saber lore. That time some slag at a pond threw a sword at me and I accidentally became the fucking King of England. So this is more like the long, short version. Or is it the short, long version? Or is it the medium version? It's an excuse to justify all the countless hours I've put into this hellhole. Obviously, there is going to be spoilers, but I'm going to try and keep it focused on the lore and universe and where every series fits in the timeline, rather than what actually happens in any individual series. So, hopefully it won't spoil your experience too much if you decide to walk into hell with us. So, with that said, let's start explaining all of Fate.
Exactly.
It's not too late now, Garn. All we have to do is just turn the camera off and delete the file and no one will ever have to know. See that gig up? That was gig up 3 months ago. I've been putting off filming this for 3 fucking months. Just kill me now. Oh, 3 fucking months. This is my dissertation all over again. Hello and welcome to my TED Talk. To be introducing the Fate timeline, I'm going to be cosplaying the most powerful servant in the history of the Fate timeline. Steve Handjobs. But before we get to the Fate timeline, there are a few core concepts we need to bang out first so everything makes sense. Firstly is Akasha. See, Fate exists in this grand world of magic and mages where you can summon heroic beings from the past, present, and future, and all of this derives from Akasha. What is Akasha? See, Akasha is this metaphysical place that exists outside of time and dimensions that is the source of all events and all the souls in all timelines, and I like using big words to make me sound smart. Basically, everything that's ever happened and everyone you know, you can thank Akasha for it. 2020 as a whole? Thanks, Akasha. The Chad himself, Chug Jug's Fortnite remix. Thanks, Akasha. The one time in class you thought you had a silent fart, but you ripped out a fat one and everyone heard it and stared at you and your brain still reminds you about it every time you were about to sleep. Fuck you, Akasha. So instead of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, this is more like wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, goopy galaxy, diddly dimension, rickety reality stuff. Where every timeline and every reality exists at the same time, meaning there are no spin-offs, every fate is canon, life is aligned, yes, that smutty dojin of Minamoto going ada on the order is canon in some timeline. You can't prove me otherwise. Are you with me?
To be fair,
this
I
is
know a lot about
important
Fate
because
Dojin.
the end goal of every mage
doesn't?
in the Fate universe is to find a way to reach the root of Akasha. But Giga, why do all mages want to find the root of Akasha? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Canon, exactly. All Dojinshi is canon.
I really hope you're not confused right now. This is just the beginning. Well, this would be a good time to talk about the magic system that exists in the Nasuverse, because as we all know, in this universe, mages exist and use magecraft, aka magic. Right? Wrong. Incorrect. Erroneous. Mistaken. I can't think of any more words off the top of my head.
Canon event became a meme. Yeah.
Why would anyone assume that magic and magecraft are the same thing? Look at this guy. Typical man that can't tell the difference between magic and magecraft. No. You got magecraft.
His fucking images, man.
I can't believe it's not magic. And then you got the Chad True Magic. This is the top tier gourmet shit. This is the shit real mages want to use. The kind of shit Gordon Ramsay has to taste off and goes, finally. So good fucking magic. But this premium shit can only be achieved by mages who view Akasha. And once someone gets that magic, that path to Akasha is cut off, and then the magic can only be used by the direct descendants of that original mage. Basically, no one has real magic and they're trying to get to the root of Akasha so they can stop using the peasant dollar store magecraft shit. Oh man, what if the third magic was just the power to create fate porn? But what's stopping all mages from getting to this mythical place called Akasha? Well, you have this thing called the counterforce. This is kind of like a safety mechanism that stops the world from going extinct because the Earth is actually alive and has a will, and don't worry about that right now. And the counterforce itself is made up of 2 parts.
To
the
be
collective
fair,
unconscious will.
Okay, real talk for a moment. While Sydney is a gorgeous woman, what the fuck is going upstairs in her? I swear to God. She fucks her brother. She calls him Oni-chan. Like, I don't know if she's a catch or not.
Of humanity itself to survive, Alaya, and the will of the planet itself, Gaia. Online. Why is this important? Because the counterforce has powerful defense mechanisms, like being able to summon heroic spirits from Earth's history in order to defend itself, which we call servants. Sound familiar?
I understood that reference.
So it'll intervene anyone trying to get to Akasha, aka the goopy galaxy timey-wimey place, and mages have to find a way around it. Are you with me? Are you with me? Good. If you're already confused, may I introduce to you the phrase everyone in the Fate fandom holds in the highest esteem as the holiest words in our gospel. Don't worry about it. Why is the cast of Fate Stay Night sharing a nice wholesome meal instead of trying to brutally murder each other?
I still need to watch this show. This looks so fucking like chill and relaxed.
Don't worry about it. How do reality bubbles work? Don't worry about it. What is the moon? Don't worry about it. No, please don't worry about it. Please don't ask me what the moon is. I'm not gonna fucking talk about the moon! To recap,
That
you have
actually is
Akasha,
a
the tiny...
difficult thing to explain, holy shit. I could not live that Sydney was with Garnt for so long. Yeah. No, I'm real happy that they finally actually got to have the marriage.
Galaxy, rickety reality place that every mage is trying to get to so they can use the top tier gourmet true magic. But the only thing stopping them is the counterforce, which they have to try and find a way around. Did you get all that? This is all the background information you need to know before we start the timeline. Jesus Christ, we haven't even started the timeline yet. You know, originally I wanted to visualize the timeline physically by having things stuck against the wall strung together with a string or something like that, like you see in that Always Sunny meme. But then I soon realized I don't have a wall big enough. So that's why I'm using the green screen. Definitely not because I want to rip off Nakey Jakey. Now, starting right at the beginning, before any mages, before any servants, before any Holy Grail wars, you have the Age of God. So yeah, apparently right at the beginning of Fate lore, there was this period of time where gods roamed the earth with man, mythical creatures existed, and I shit you not, physics apparently just wasn't a thing. Yeah, apparently this thing called mystery governed the law of the worlds, which I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Don't worry about it. Like, I just imagine in my head some ancient humans trying to let go of an apple and physics tries to drop it and mystery's like, no. We do not do that here. And then the apple just flies off to fucking Narnia. But everything changed when the Sefer Nation attacked. Or just Sefer. This next time period is called Deterioration. This titan called Sefer invaded and destroyed most of the world and was only beaten back by this mighty sword called Excalibur. After the attack, the gods weaken a bit, mystery starts to wane, and physics is like, yo, is anyone gonna drop that apple? Which takes us to separation. So the gods are a little pissed that they can't go down to Earth anymore because they're so weak, so they make Gilgamesh, who's 2/3 god. Because gods don't give a shit about maths, apparently. With the intention of making him...
because, okay, if I remember correctly, he's the child of the god of the sun and another goddess, and they put him into a human mother, I believe is how he was born. So that's why he's technically 2/3 god, because it's 3 fucking lots of shit going in there. And yeah, it's... I'm pretty sure he's about to explain his boyfriend as well in a moment from memory.
The keystone to connect the gods and the humans. Now, for anyone not familiar with the Fate verse, how can I explain Gilgamesh? You know that one meme, is this some peasant joke I'm too poor to understand? Well, imagine if that meme was reincarnated as a person. That's Gilgamesh. So yeah, he decides to rebel and the gods were like, no, this guy doesn't want to take orders from us. No, come on, keep joshing us right now. This is a prank. Come on, where are the hidden cameras? I want to be punked, aren't I? And so with that, the gods cannot interfere with humans anymore. And thus begins
Gilgamesh's
the
love.
Age of Man. From the year 0
Gilgamesh's
AD,
love.
the human
Gilgamesh's
population
life.
explodes, magic and magecraft is replaced with science, and most importantly, physics exists now, guys! Yeah!
Why is he jerking himself off?
I was meant to buy a party popper, but I completely forgot to. Alan, can you edit a party popper in this video, please? Thank you. That's right, screw your mystery. I have E equals MC squared. Okay, remember right at the beginning of this video when I said the Fate franchise was about this thing called the Holy Grail? Well, we can finally start talking about the Holy Grail. See, the Grail is touted as this omnipotent, magical, wish-granting
Dude, he's got a package and a half in those jeans, by the way. Can we talk about that?
These epic magic gamer girls, called the Ironsburn family, figured out a way to the root of Akasha. That place that gives you true epic gamer magic. By using the Holy Grail to summon 7 heroic spirits and then sacrifice them, and using that mana to summon an even greater Grail called
The Greater
Grail, which has access to the root of Akasha. But of course, all the various magic gamer girls and boys couldn't agree on who would actually get access to the magic.
Getting closer to making sense.
They decided to have a meeting to decide.
Dude, I miss Dr.
Stone.
Stone.
Say that it was a magic. The Gathering. Or in Fate, we just call this the Holy Grail War. Which finally leads us to the timelines to all the wars so far. Oh, I can't believe I flunked world history and I'm about to recite the entire history of some fictional war that happened. Okay, so you got like the first Holy Grail War, which happened around the 1800s.
True. I mean, he's Steve Handjobs. He's got to get practicing, right? So he's got to have good hand
couldn't agree on who could get access to the Grail. So they were like, guys, we've got a bunch of servants lying about. Tournament art, tournament art, tournament art, tournament art, tour! This is hardly what you call an actual war though, and more like a 3 AM brawl at the local mage pub, which ended because everyone got bored and time ran out. Then came the second Holy Grail War in the 1860s with the same parties involved, but this time everyone went a bit fucking mental because everyone died, nobody won, and future generations were like, wait a minute, do we need rules? What the fuck is a Geneva Convention? Then came the third Holy Grail War in the 1930s, where the church gets involved because they're just like, are you using the term Holy Grail? God, are we allowed to copy strike that? And everyone's happy with that because they can enforce the rules. So the church is like, alright gamers, I want a fair fight, no going for the eyes, no kicking below the belt, and for God's sakes, no summoning any illegal servants. So then the Irons burn summon an illegal servant. And so they get this totally new servant called Angramayu, aka the Angry Mango, who's meant to be this super badass, ultra OP new servant that also wins on the board, except lol, JK is actually super weak and
could never give a crap about the... Yeah, no, like, I love Fate story stuff, but like this.
War, which is basically just the
This
event
is
of Fate
obscene.
Zero. I'm not going to spoil what happens in it. And finally, we have the Grand Sugar Daddy that birthed everything we're talking about. The fifth Holy Grail War, aka the events of Fate Stay Night. Following Shiro fighting in it using the power of friendship and fucking, mana transfer, and this CG dragon still haunts my nightmares. What's important here is that this war has at least 3 different timelines, because the original Fate Stay Night was a visual novel with 3 different routes. You got the Fate route,
like which god? All of them.
Heavensfield. Or, to
yeah, so Heavensfield's the one I know nothing about, by the way. It's like, well, I know about it, but I've never watched it, and I know it's the new route that got, like, adapted, so I should watch it at some point.
The best girl routes and the Sakura routes with extra fucking, mana transfer. But it doesn't stop there.
I should
because
watch it
next
at some
we've got
point.
Fate Hollow Ataraxia, which is kind of like a sequel to Fate Stay Night because it takes place 6 months after the events that happened in there. So you may be wondering which one of the 3 routes it follows, and the answer is yes. So one of the main girls from Fate Stay Night, Rin, is doing some magic experiments, and she does a little bit of an oopsie, and completely fucks up the space-time continuum, merging all parallel universes together. And I know what you're thinking, this doesn't sound like a little oopsie, this sounds a bit more like a big oopsie.
Maybe ufotable, so animation. So, yeah, no, I did see some of the animations.
She was dead off screen in the original Fate Stay Night, and she is now alive along with Angramayu, aka the Angry Mango. And they're stuck in a Groundhog Day type time loop, living the same 4 days over and over, and she has to find a way to escape without fading from existence because she was originally dead, and I guess people die if they don't exist. Since most of this takes place in a time loop, this is basically just Fate Re-Zero Edition, so you can essentially just call it Fate Zero.
Shit.
Wait. And you know what? That's basically everything for the flagship Fate series. We did it,
Is
guys. That was pretty simple, right, guys? What are we missing?
Oh, yes.
Fuck. Of course, we are going to have to fill this timeline in with all the other Fate media out there. So, let's do the time warp again. Oh my god. Alan, fucking cut that. Alright, so let's start with Fate Apocrypha.
Alan did
So
not
Fate
cut that.
Apocrypha timeline is exactly identical to the original timeline, except when we get to the Third Holy Grail War, where the timeline was like, you know what? Nazis.
Yes, I was right.
Of course it's the fucking Nazis. So the Nazis join the Third Holy Grail War, and instead of there being a winner, the Nazis steal the Greater Grail system, and so after that,
the title was already taken,
Transylvanian
yeah,
Nazi
true.
mage guy steals it from the Nazis again, and then I guess the Nazis go on to lose World War II as usual. Fast forward to the future, and somehow the entire world finds out about the Greater Grail system, and everyone and their dog tries to make a cheap imitation of it. And so because of this, the Transylvanian Nazi sorcerer guy vows to make the Holy Grail War great again. And so he makes the Great Holy Grail War.
Which is the
I shit you not, this is what it's called. And so now instead of 7 servants, you have 14 servants separated into 2 teams. Red and black.
Yeah.
That's right, it's a team deathmatch.
Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch! Team deathmatch! Stab it!
And so we get a season of Red versus Black, Mordred is hot, and Astolfo makes straight guys question their sexuality, and gay guys question their sexuality, and gay girls question their sexuality. And me question my life choices for spending $400
Oh
for
god,
a
yeah,
dick.
he spent a
That
lot
concludes
of
the
money,
events of
didn't
Hitler's Day Night.
he?
Next on the menu, we have today's menu for Emiya family. Did you see what I did there? This is, I think, just another alternate ending to the 5th Holy Grail War, where I guess nobody dies and they all just sit around cooking and playing volleyball and being happy, and this is canon, okay? They never.
Yeah, it's because Ryder's alive, which is like what none of the fucking storylines has. She always dies. Fuck you, Medusa. Wait, she's Medusa, right? Or am I remembering that wrong? I'm having a moment.
Explain where this takes place on the timeline, but I don't care. They're all happy. Akasha made it. It's canon. Like in my mind, this is the reality when someone just tried playing the Fate visual novel, but got bored 5 minutes after reading words and then just left and never came back. And then all these characters are just sitting around having a gay old time waiting for the Holy Grail War to start. This is what happened. This is the reality where C-Dog VA tried to play Fate. Alright, so I'm just going to make a Fate Stay Night bubble, and then I'm going to put Fate Tiger Coliseum and Fake Unlimited codes in this bubble, because they're just fighting games and they're already beating the shit out of each other in the series anyway, so I guess these are just the filler episodes we never got to see. Then we got Fate School Life, which is kind of like a slice of life spin-off in the Fate Stay Night universe.
Oh god,
that also has Ataraxia characters in it. So I guess it goes here. Can you tell how I'm
I remember quite a bit.
right now? Lord Elmaloy's Case Files. This is basically the CSI magic that takes place after Fate Zero.
But no, you know what I'm remembering? Fucking
Carnival
Phantasm.
Except Waver's gone from Daddy Step on Me to
fully yet. I still need to do that.
Oh, Step on Me, Daddy. All right. Now we get into the manly shit. Fate DJ Khaled, line of Prisma Ilya, is a spin-off where Ilya becomes a magical girl. And instead of summoning servants, the magical girls can use these magical cards to channel the power of a servant. And also there's a magical talkie wand, don't worry about it. Before I properly got into the Fate franchise, I thought that this was just an unrelated spin-off that had nothing to do with the main universe, but no. Not only does this directly diverge from the main timeline, but it has 2 separate universes within its own universe. It's a fucking Ilya multiverse. And the beginning of the Ilya multiverse doesn't even have Ilya in it. Oh god, I love you so much, Fate, but you just don't make things easy, do you? Alright, I'm gonna try and do my best, so stick with me here. The first universe is the one detailed in the movie Oath Under Snow, following this girl called Miyu, which is why we call this the Miyu-verse, because her name is Miyu and she's the child of God, don't worry about it. She's taken in by Shiro, and then they have another Holy Grail War, but not the usual Holy Grail War, but the Ainsworth Holy Grail War. Can you guess why it's called the Ainsworth Holy Grail War? Because it was made by the Ainsworth. Shiro then sends Miyu to an alternate universe, which we call the Ilya-verse, which is all sunshine and rainbows.
It genuinely
where
makes
the 4th
the
Holy
entire
Grail
series
War didn't
like,
happen, and Kiritsu's
good
Father of the Year. You got cute girls doing cute things, cute girls doing magical things, and cute girls doing each other. This is the universe where season 1 and 2 of Prisma Ilya happen, but then you have season 3, which jumps back into the Miyu-verse. And if you think that complicates the timeline, how about this little knowledge of nugget? So, in the original Fate Stay Night, Ilya is 18.
Yep.
She's 18.
Where she's like
she's older than Shiro. But in the Ilya-verse, she's the same age as when the timelines diverge, which theoretically should make her the same age as she was in Fate Stay Night.
Because I believe they actually have their 11th
but she's
birthday.
Not. And the series makes it very clear that she is under 18. So which is it, Fate? Which is it? I need to know. You know, I would say don't worry about it, but I'm pretty sure the FBI are going to do that for me. Alright, moving the fuck on from this mess of a legal situation. You got Fate, also known as the Fate Extra universe. This splits off from the 3rd Holy Grail War in the Angry Mango timeline, where all the world's mana dries up because some kind of event. So in the 2030s, all the mages turned into hackers and they tried to hack the moon because the moon has a supercomputer on it that was placed there by aliens that they found. And so inside this supercomputer moon, there exists this entire digital world. And so the supercomputer moon is hosting a virtual reality Holy Grail War because it's actually alive. I don't realize how ridiculous this sounds until I read it out loud. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it turns out the moon knows shit and you can hack the moon. And it also has Rin, Sakura, and Kirei from the original Fate Stay Night. But not the original Rin, Sakura, and Kirei from the original Fate Stay Night. What are you, stupid? They're just characters who look, sound, and dress exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're different.
Completely.
Are you worrying about it? Because I'm not. So you got the Fate Extra games, the Fate Extra Triple C games, and then you got the anime. Fate Extra Last Encore in its own separate timeline that takes place in the year 3000. And Rin's great-great-great-granddaughter. It's just fucking Rin. Fate Grand Order. Oh god, you're not gonna make me break down Fate Grand Order. Alright.
Let's go.
Now we're truly in hell. So Fate Go is a mobile gacha game along with some anime adaptations where the first Holy Grail War never happened.
There's actually been more anime adaptations since he made this.
And you have got to travel back in time to various points in history to fix the fucking timeline. And every different timeline you fix is called singularities. Basically, imagine Fate Back to the Future, except there are like 7 sequels, all with different diverging timelines, and you're not trying to fuck your mum, you're just trying to fuck all the servants. Alright, so for simplicity's sake, I think it would just be easier if I just draw out the Fate Go timeline. And then here in its own corner, it's just Fate Prototype, which is Kinoko Nasu's original concept for Fate, where King Arthur's actually a guy? Get out of here with your damn historical inaccuracies. So essentially, this is just a non-existent project because the only thing that exists is a 12-minute trailer that was made purely for fan service. Which is even more bizarre when you consider Fate Prototype Fragments of Sky Silver, which is the prequel to Fate Prototype. They made a prequel, a full light novel prequel, to a 12-minute commercial. Like, did I really think Fate fans were that hungry for content? A Type Moon just sitting there being like, all right, Fate fans, open wide. Content, give me anything. And then this prequel to a project that basically doesn't even exist has a side story called Fate Labyrinth. A side story! This is why Tsukahime fans are on suicide watch. You can tell that line was written months ago because, yeah, where the fuck did this come from? And all of this would be a completely alternate universe with no connection to the original universe. But I shit you not, one of the characters has a dream that connects this universe to the Fate Stay Night universe. Yep. It's literally canon by dream. Alright, I think we're getting close to the end. Next is Fate Strange Fake. This is a light novel series that takes place after the 5th Holy Grail War in America, where they do their own Holy Grail War with hookers and blackjack, written by the same guy who did Bakano. As a recording, we don't know if this follows on from the main flagship timeline or is part of an alternate universe.
I actually don't know about this one. I never looked into it.
There's a servant called Watcher, and it's literally just a fucking whale in the sky. I'm sorry, I must have missed the legend where a fucking flying whale saves Earth. Does Free Willy count as a legendary hero of history now? There's Fate Type Redline. It's Tokyo in the 1940s. The Nazis are at it again, but this time so are the Japanese military. It's the third Grail War with seemingly no other connections to any of the Grails, and it's a manga drawn by the Demon Slayer mangaka. We got Fate Requiem. Not a lot about this is known right now because it's not been officially translated, but what we do know is that it's set in the future after some kind of Holy Grail War, and somehow everyone has their own Holy Grail. And also there's this new servant called Voyager, who I guess is the Voyager space probe, except I have no fucking clue how a space probe becomes a servant, let alone a blonde Shota boy, let alone a blonde Shota boy space probe servant, and don't tell me to worry about it, because I'm not. Can you see how much I'm not worrying about it? I am not worrying about it. But seriously, how the fuck? And finally, in a bubble within its own fucking dimension is Carnival Phantasm, where all the Fate characters and other characters from Nasu's other works are just hanging out, I guess. Doesn't make any sense. I have no idea where this fits on the timeline. I think this is just a bubble reality where Akasha got fucking drunk. And that's it. That is the long version. Kinda. Oh, but Giga, what about the rest of the Nazi verse? Are you gonna do that as well? How about no? Originally, this was meant to be a grand video where it talks about all the funny and ridiculous things I found out about Fate lore as a whole. But when I started it, I kind of realized I'm gonna need 20 minutes just to explain the fucking timeline. So you know what? This may just be the first part in a multi-series lecture from hell. Because the worst thing about Fate is that after going through all the timelines, after connecting all the lore, after spending far too many hours consuming Fate media and reading pages upon pages of wiki articles, it kind of makes sense. Oh God, this chart actually makes sense to me. The entire timeline is actually the simplest part of Fate lore.
Everything's Fate.
Fate is just an all-encompassing hole that just gets darker and gloomier the deeper you go down. People wonder what's at the bottom of the abyss in Made in Abyss. It's just the fucking entrance to the Fate hole. You want the real short version Fate newcomers? You watch either of these two, and then watch this, and then watch whatever the fuck you want. Or you know what? Fuck all this. Start with the spin-off series. Start with lesbian lollies kissing. Start with Fate MasterChef.
Yeah.
Fuck. Start with the doujinshis for all I care. Just ignore all the shitstorm going on in the comment section right now. The reality is, it doesn't really matter where you start. As long as it looks interesting to you, then go for it. The problem is there's so many people who are obsessed with optimizing the perfect read and watch order that they forget that if you enjoy the experience and it gets you into Fate, then who the fuck cares what order you watch it in? Cause look, memes aside, the Fate lore may be a convoluted mess to unravel, but it is an awesome franchise. It's a series that can have amazing fights with balls to the walls action and magical moments.
We don't need the like you stroking Fate stick thing. We already got our memes. But yeah, like I will say, this is the same argument I have with like Monogatari series. Like Monogatari series is an amazing series. If someone asks me what's the correct way to watch it, it's whatever one you want to watch first. I watched it in release order. Well, most of what it was, most of it. I still need to catch up on a few. Which means like I'm completely out of it for some things, because some of it does get released as this is a prequel, this is a sequel, this is a side story, this is a blah blah blah, all that. It's the same with Fate. It doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day as long as you watched and enjoyed it, right? That was a lovely detour. Thank you, Gant. We're so glad to have your services available. So yeah, Fate is actually a really fun series. Just don't get lost in the source. Again, it's why I always struggle with that, like, oh, this is the correct way to watch it, or all that stuff. It's insane to me that Monogatari fans don't often like Fate and vice versa. I like them both, Fate more, purely due to the being shonen rather than slice of life. See, I will say, personally I like Monogatari more than Fate, but I love them for very different reasons. So I agree, I really do love the fighting, the chaos, the action, all of that stuff that Fate offers, and they normally, in anime, do it really, really well. In Monogatari, I love the complexity. I love it's a story that requires me to be firing multiple, on multiple cylinders while thinking about it. Because it's not just a linear story. It is actually multi-layered and very, very complex for it. And that's where a lot of its beauty comes in. But I can also acknowledge that being a huge turn-off for most people, right? Because who wants to really watch a show that you have to read? It is a big, big issue with it. And that's fine. So it's not for everyone. It's also subject to the same issues that a lot of other series have, where it is very clearly designed for its original audience. So there's a lot of one of the things I will always praise the anime for is that it managed to catch a lot of things done correctly, because Monogatari has always been also a slight satire on itself. It's a satire on storytelling in its medium. Originally, it was really, really intense about satiring manga. Like manga light novel stuff. When the anime came along, it actually did satire that as well. It satired it really, really well. There's one scene I will always use as reference to that, which is when they're talking about their voice actors. Like, straight up, the main two characters are talking about is like, oh, well, I can't turn up to school. And it's like, oh, well, don't worry, my voice actress is capable of mimicking your voice actor really, really well. It's like, oh, well, prove it. It's like, see, I can do this here. And it's like, that doesn't sound anything like this dude, but okay. It's like, that was hysterical. I loved that. And that's why I say, like, it's very medium focused. It's... Monogatari, I guess, is best defined as it's a love letter to the mediums of conveying this content, whereas Fate is a embodiment of the content in its medium. If that makes sense. That's why, like, I look at them as very two different subjects, and I find it... Again, I like both, but I will agree that I have seen quite a lot of, like, not liking as one or the other sort of shit. And I can see the reason. But yes, no, at the end of the day, we can all come together and say both have really good doujinshis, and you should enjoy both, because they're fucking great. I will say Fate doujinshi is normally better, though. And I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for saying that. But that's just because Fate doujinshi is, like... Okay, there's, like, the big three for doujinshi. It's, like, Fate, Fate, Toho, and Blue Archive. Are, like, the ones that I see constantly for doujins. Right? And, like, I would consider them the big three doujinshi targets. Fate has, like, 20 times the character. Yeah, no, I mean, there's that. And it's not even just that, it's that, like, then there's also copies of the same characters in different ways. Like, you've got alter characters. So you can have, Saber, and then you can have alter Saber, and then you can have them fucking, and it's great. And I mean, what? And then you've got, alter Ruler. Or alter John. What is the way that she's normally explained? Because I know she's the ruler in Apocrypha. Is she just called John? John? Can't remember. Yeah, masterpiece. Exactly. Look, I'll be honest, most people don't know who the fuck Toho's Bizarre Adventure is, but they know Toho via Doujinshi. And that's fine. Dude, if you told me the only characters you know are like Rimu and Patchouli, I know exactly what you know Toho from. Like 100% I know exactly what you know it from. She's a ruler and in a few other franchises. She's a Lancer. Oh, I didn't know she was also a Lancer. I mean, to be fair, in Fate Go, to my understanding, there is multiple times where servants are multiple different ones. I believe, I remember there's even a version where, like, Gilgamesh is a caster. And, again, maybe I'm showing that I know way too much more about Fate than I let on. Like, I feel like I don't know jack shit about Fate, but... Curious, what's your definition of doujinshi? So doujinshi is just fan work, typically. I believe that's what it's actually translated to, but it's often used to supplement the term for basically hentai. So in this case, it is the hentai supplementation. However, the actual term for it is fan work. So if you go to the convention, like the conventions in Japan, there will be a lot of doujinshi sales, and those aren't just strictly like romance and stuff like that. They are just straight up like AO3 is a doujinshi site if you were using the word in a literal sense. If that makes better sense. It's just typically doujinshi is hentai manga. But it's not strictly hentai manga. So while I agree a lot of people have very different definitions for it, that is the actual definition for it. Like if the Chuchalam is a caster, One versus Emir is Saber. Yeah, there's no true restrictions to what a person can be for a class, per se, but there is definitely ones where they're weighted better for. And that is a big acknowledgement that needs to be kind of like made. Okay. How do I want to actually handle this ability? I'm gonna have to add an on-crit effect, aren't I? Yeah. Do I have on-crit? I'm gonna check that out. Be under player scripts, because that's when they deal damage, I believe. Or is that under enemy? Crit handler here. God, I'm having to read shit now, yeah. It'll be under enemy scripts. By the way, yeah, I have actually been doing like work in the background this entire time. Just very unclear on that in a sense. What's the current thing on the list of tasks? Just clean up. Art and clean up. It's what it's going to be for a little while. Just because we want to get the next update, and that's all that really needs to be done for the next update is just clean up. I'm hoping the next update can be done in a relatively soon kind of space of time. But I have no assurance that that's going to be how it's done. So I need to do it in crit then. So we need crit. Here. Okay, so it's one of these two I need to do it in. Right now I'm playing Samurai Remnant. If you remember, Assassin and Bladeworks was a rival of a legendary samurai. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Interesting. Because yeah, like I know there's another character I heard came up as a berserker at one point, and I was like completely surprised to hear them as that. Now I'm trying to think, because that's the thing, is berserkers tend to be just some character that turns up and they're just fucked up, because that's the berserker trait, I believe, right? Is that regardless of who they were, if they turn up as a berserker, they lose. They gain more power but lose more sanity, because all of the classes actually do empower the character relative to the thing, if I recall. Holy shit, I need to, like... yeah, there's something wrong with me that I know all of this stuff. Because, if I remember correctly, with riders, it's that they're allowed to use, higher level, beasts with them than normal. And stuff like that. Yeah, it's... End the talk here. Yeah, we probably should. It's a fucking nightmare. Point is, a lot of shit going on. Oh, Phasmophobia is apparently on sale. Cool, Steam. Thanks. How do I want to manage on crit effects? Because it's going to be one of these two. So this is the crit damage. This is the crit event. What will I ever need the crit thing for? I probably should do it here because this gives me more information I can work with. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a probably just straight up copy the thing from damage around on damage deal. This stuff here. For now. And then we put that in here. And we have all of this, but instead of on deal, it's on crit. And then I'm going to need to pass through at least 2 pieces of information consistently. Which is damage and crit damage modifier, I think is what I need. Oh no, crit chance. We need crit chance coming through. So, to explain the reasoning of what I'm doing here, very simple. This means I'm passing through how much damage the crit is going to do, and this is going to pass through how much of a crit it is. The rationale is of any situation I might have as a on-crit effect that's getting triggered. Those are the 2 times that we're gonna need the information. Fallout 76 is on sale. Yeah, it's almost like you could get it via Game Pass though instead, which is probably just a better deal, so you don't actually own the game and never have to fucking play it. I still need to fix my having never played a Fallout game thing someday. It is a game series I do want to like play, but it's the problem of, and I know I'm immediately going to hear this somehow. And I've had this a lot of times, it's just like, oh, which one should I start with? People tell me start with the first one, start with 3, start with 4, start with Fallout New Vegas, all that stuff. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. All of them, I'm probably gonna play 4, and that one looks like the best to me. For me to play, because it's just slightly more modern. And has more refinement because of that. And there's a couple of the features of it that I think look cool and fun. Okay, now... But that's why I say, like, I'm pretty sure I angered someone with that kind of statement. How dare you not play the originals that are, like, slogfests? How do you not play the older ones that are only good because of mods? How do you play the one that if someone's not telling you it's a bad game constantly, that it's actually a decent game? 76, on the other hand, that was just a marketing failure and was a technical failure to the nth degree as well. That is always my issue with 76. They fucked that so much. play Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. I don't think I know of that one. Oh, you know one game I'm still sad that they've never, like, talked about doing sequels for or anything more? It's fucking Sanctum. I love Sanctum games, man. Because it's niche as hell. Yeah, that's fair. But no, Sanctum games, absolutely loved those games. Still sad that there's not another one. I still play Sanctum 2 from time to time. Sure, I haven't played it in like a year, but like I still play it from time to time. Just install it, play it for a couple of hours. Leave it at that. That's a game I'd love to make. It's just a Sanctum game. I know there's the Orcs Must... Is it Orcs Must Die? I think is the one I'm thinking of, where they've like... There's a new one coming out and it's moved fairly into that kind of direction of gameplay. But no, I think Sanctum 2 is still to this day one of my favorite games. If I was to make a first-person shooter, expect that to be how I'd make one. Like, I even liked the story, man. And that story was shit. Looked at I know them vaguely, but never looked at screenshots, even the gameplay. I would think people would like them this much. Dude, it's fucking Sanctum games. Like, I will always stand by. Sanctum games are a game series that if more people played it, more people would play it. It's a niche that there is a beautiful room for at the moment. And if I wasn't working on this game and working on the next game as well, I would work on that game. Like, it's probably going to be the next game I work on after my car game. Like 100%, if I wasn't working in Game Maker and was working in like Unity or Unreal, that would be the game I would make. It is genuinely a really fun experience, and it's so much cool optimization you can do with it. Like, it's far better than I feel like people give it credit for. And it's probably one of those kind of games that is best defined by, like, you'll hear like no one talk about it, then you'll hear that one dude in the corner that's like, this is the best game ever, you should play it. And you eventually listen to that one dude and you're like, you know what, it's actually a decent game. Not saying it's for everyone. It's a first-person tower defense. Like, you can't easily go a first-person shooter tower defense. Why would I play that? But it's actually really fun and engaging. It's really cool to puzzle things out. There's a lot of interesting room for three-dimensional work in it as well. It's cool. Fuck, now I want to play it. That's not what I typed. What? Have you recommended it to Zyka yet? I don't know. I don't tend to recommend games to Zyko. Because, I mean, my argument is I tend not to watch his live streams all that much anymore. It is actually co-op as well, which is a really cool selling point, if that's a thing for people. But no, again, not anything against Zyko, just I don't tend to watch his streams as much now, and I don't really feel comfortable recommending games to him. If he's gonna play a game, he's gonna play a game. He gets enough recommendations as it is. I mean, Zyko likes tower defenses, sucks at shooters, but you could like him. Oh, look, it's a game that is designed around you not having to be good at shooting. If you're good at tower defense, you won't need to shoot. But shooting adds to it. And it can mean that, like, think of it as you can have more stuff focusing on ads and you can focus on boss, is the best way to look at it. Right? Which is like the important kind of thing, because like there's weak spots and all that. Would you say 1 or 2 is better? 2 is probably the better of the lot. It was the more recent one and it shows. It was really, really fun, but that's still like, it was released well over a decade ago now, I think, right? Let's see, May 2013. I will say probably the biggest way to turn that's going to turn off Zyko, if you were to suggest it to someone like him, is that it is definitely a game that's better cooperatively. But I've played the entire game solo and with friends as well, so I believe I've basically unlocked like most of the game as well. If not all of it, multiple times, because I've played it on console and I've played it on PC. I think I've got it on Steam. I think that's how I played it last. Because like I've had it on, yeah, I've had it on PC longest, but I have completed it on console before, I believe. 1 or 2 better. 2's better. It's just the newer one. Again, the story doesn't really matter. Is kind of the main thing to take away from it. Sanctum 2. Let's see, on Steam I have 27 hours. I know I have played way more than that though. Like, I know if I was to add up all of my hours across platforms, I'm probably sitting well over 100 hours in Sanctum 2. Like, as someone that, while I did competitive first-person shooter tournaments in my time, I don't like shooters typically. Sanctum was always a game that just sat out of the realm of me caring if it was a shooter or not. I would 100% in a heartbeat make a Sanctum game if I was offered it. If a large company came to me and asked me, would you want to design this game, I would fucking sign the papers right there and then. I just don't. The only reason I say that is because I don't want to do the fucking modeling and art asset required for doing a 3-dimensional FPS game. Love to do it otherwise. But yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game. I do just love though that like it's a game that you have to build very specifically in certain missions, and what's funniest about them is you get to this point where certain bosses just go, you know what, fuck your walls. One comment on Steam, if Sanctum 3 came out, the world would start healing. Yes. I 100% believe another Sanctum game would be one of the best things to come out. If I hear Sanctum 3 coming out, I'm going to be super hyped for it. If you ever get bored of a game, try mods. Yeah, well, I mean, like, that's always the good bet, right? I'm just of the category nowadays where I jump between things so often, because I want to learn as much as I can from everything. So mods tend to be a slower thing, or like a thing that just isn't worth a lot of my time. But that's like, but I will say that there's certain games I wouldn't play without them. I mean, I still want to do a Minecraft mod. I'm still working on that in the background and getting a little bit of research done and improving my skills around that. Someday, I swear, someday. It'll be great, I swear. So how do I want to do this? This is actually a situation that I've been thinking about a lot, and I need to probably approach this correctly. This is going to basically be a permanent buff effect that the player has to deal with. So there's an argument to be made that I just make this an item. I have to go now, so I hope you have a great day and goodbye. Catch you later, Sashal. Hope you have a good day as well. Let's see, on here, crit's heal for the thing with crit. I mean, the benefit I have is that I just need initial level up to give that effect. Like, I feel like I need to make another array for that information. Like, secret abilities, basically, in a sense. I don't even think I use these anymore. God, I need to go through and actually fix a lot of this, huh? Okay, let's actually do a find all on this. That's all outdated. Oh god, I'm gonna have to delete so much old crap soon. Because, like, this is a problem, is that some of this stuff, I'm pretty sure most of this stuff here is useless because I use this stuff more. Like, I just use the universal pause system because it's safer. The only reason I think some of these are different is because of the way that they have to trigger. I don't feel like doing the reading to figure out if I need to delete or not delete these things. This is the problem with this stuff, is that I get to this point of I don't know what I need to actually remove. Gotta go sleep now. To wake up early in the morning. All good, all good. It was good catching up though. Have fun with your nice sleep. But yeah, I think I need to, like, go through and just remove a lot of old code here around these and actually get this cleaned up correctly. There's a couple of ideas that I have towards how I want to handle abilities moving forward. and it's probably wise I approach them that way. Because, like, so what I was saying there was introducing the idea of having kind of another array for some abilities to go into, so it's just not not seen, but that means that they can still get triggered and function. I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. So that might need to be a big shift I do this weekend. About, like, getting all of that shit worked on. Oh, yeah, fucking... Okay, one thing I feel like I need to talk about a little bit. That's gonna be weird to talk about. Fucking... The Idle EN stuff. Idle Corp getting bought out. So what does that actually kind of mean towards stuff I do? Pretty much nothing, but I do have to describe certain characters, because we do have Rin on the docket to get done, but I'm probably not going to change anything about her. I look at how I've designed her. The only one I would argue is the company card, but I still think there's a meme, right? That's very accurate to Rin. Because Rin's going to be going independent, if anyone didn't know. That was a decision that she was allowed, and is awesome that they're going to be doing that. But it does mean that, like, no longer is she going to be under the Idle EN banner. And it's not a good or a bad thing. It's a thing. It exists. Accept it. I'm definitely interested to see... Yeah. Gonna have to do something about it, right? Oh god, everyone's talking about fucking, the 2KXO, I think is what it's called. The fucking League of Legends fighter game at the moment. Because I think, like, alpha access is starting to get handed out. Which, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief, I'm good. Fighter games aren't really my thing, and yeah, it doesn't have anything in it that makes me want to specifically play it until it comes out. Like, I'm happy to wait, because it does look like it's got a couple of problems with it still, as well. Oh, alright. God, I'm glad we got the artwork done today, though. So, by all intents and purposes, outside of some UI assets and some more particle effects and certain things like that. Like, because I know Monarch's weapon doesn't actually have like a proper animation sprite for it. Outside of that stuff, we are pretty much done for like getting things into the game. So it is just clean up and finishing things that we've already got to do, which is going to be cool. Definitely, yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see what we do moving forward with stuff. Alright. I've got a lot of things I need to get done this weekend, though, I think. Because it would be like a lot of this cleanup that I'm not sure about, and I want to do like very micro testing. A lot of micro testing with it. So I don't want to do it on stream because micro testing is actually a little harder to do on stream because of the lag from running the stream software. So I don't want to really sit here constantly and then basically forget what I'm working on, is the short answer. So with that being the case, I'm gonna probably call it here. Next week's gonna probably be a fair bit of dev stream still, while we work on stuff and try and get it nudged ready for a release. Again, no promises on when release is, but like my hope was to have it done this week or next week. This rate is definitely not this week. Just straight up, I'll say that. And there's not great chances it'll be next week, but I'm hoping it could still be. So yeah, again, just keep an eye to the ground. I'll probably tweet and post about it because I need to do. The problem is when I go for doing the release, I need to do a shitload of advertisement stuff prior, because I need to start prepping advertisement things to get it interesting and make it worth actually like looking into the update. So one of the ones I planned to do was do YouTube shorts on the other channel, kind of like showcasing a character, going like, hey, this is the character, this is their abilities, this is what they do, and yada yada yada. So that was something that I'm going to get done when we get closer to the update. And then I will probably like revisit those when we go for the Steam release. But it means that like, because that's what we did in the last devlog, is we kind of had like a lot of descriptions around what was in and what was going on. So by having the shorts, it makes it a bit more palatable and a bit more advertisable, because I can kind of like retweet them a little bit easier and repost them in locations a bit easier, instead of posting a 20-30 minute fucking video of, hey, this is all the shit that's gone into it and this is all the characters and everything, which I'll probably still do, but means I have them separate. So with that all being the case though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You're awesome, stay awesome, and I hope to see you again next time. Have a good weekend. Until then, bye-bye.